am currently reading Madness and Civilization,
Oh,
and
right. Yeah, the Foucault book.
yeah, so it's a analysis of how madness was viewed in society. Um, I am. It's not the easiest thing to read. I think mainly because it's not your typical crazy ass Foucault. Because the interesting thing is he is not the one that's. Well, I'm not going to say he's not unintelligible, because sometimes that just tends to happen with Foucault. But the people in quotes that he fishes up from these old textbooks that try to explain what madness is, like, man, these people are didn't have really any type of grasp on why people were mad. It's like
Yeah,
the explanations for why someone would have melancholia are quite ridiculous.
yeah,
And I was like, wow, these are like almost so ridiculous that you almost forget that it's not, these are not Foucault's words. He's just telling you how these things were viewed. Of
yeah. People
course,
forget that people get fucking stupid about that shit all the time and think, whoa, he's advocating for all this crazy shit. No, he's not. He's describing the way people used to think about it, man. Calm down.
yeah, so it's like, wow, people thought some really crazy stuff about why people were mad. It's like, wow, they give really convoluted explanations that make no sense. They
Yeah,
allude to supernatural things at times, like,
yeah.
oh, someone's animal spirits are not in balance. It's like, wow, they're really grasping at straws, kind of trying to describe what causes what and what is considered a pathology.
Right.
Like, I think what I was most recently listening was about how hysterics was categorized and
Oh,
how that
yeah.
was,
That was a long time. For a long time, women were psychologically classified that way too.
yeah.
You're
So it's,
hysterical, meaning you have been diagnosed with hysteria, so you're just acting crazy. Stop complaining.
yeah, it's weird, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes some getting used to Foucault. Just his sentences are weird. The way he talks is almost. I feel that he isn't very direct to the point.
No.
He gets very flowery and poetic with his way of speaking. And I don't mean
Yeah.
poetic as in, oh wow. I mean poetic as in he tries to use the most complicated sentence structure he
Yeah.
could think
Yeah.
of to
He
explain something
really,
that could probably be really simple.
yeah, he's really pedantic and abstract.
Yeah, he bloviates quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me too, like I was just listening to this and I was remembering um, Jordan Peterson. I know these are like the worst two to compare themselves to,
Yeah.
but I remember listening to like one of the early chapters in the 12 Rules, and there was this one chapter where he just bloviates on chaos and order. Um, and I kind of get the same feel that they bloviate on for a while.
Dude, Peterson is especially that way in his first book, Maps of Meaning, because it's much more of a technical and academically written book. So he really writes a lot more like Foucault in that book.
So it's not quite like I do understand this more, mainly because he does go into the history of things, into how mental institutions were established, how long ago they were established, what they were called, what their function was. And I know very early in the book, like the main function of mental institutions were to keep beggars off the streets, and these institutions were created because um, mainly they wanted in French society, because he does start with some hospitals that were created in France.
Yeah.
Uh, and at the time, the King Louis the, whatever number, he had instituted some rules where everybody who resided in Paris or in the main city would have to have some type of employment.
Oh,
And
right.
when
Right.
someone was unemployable, that was kind of the first um, categorization of starting categorization of putting somebody in the madness category. So if they're
Yeah.
unemployable, there has to be some reason if they're not physically incapable. So usually they would have to figure it out, and they would just say, "Oh, that person's mad. They're not
Yeah.
employable."
Exactly.
So it's an interesting book. I'm liking it so far. It's just one of those where you kind of have to like remember that you got to stay focused, because Foucault is just out there when it comes to writing.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes you just got to stay focused, because some of the historical examples he pulls from equally bloviate and have nonsensical things that they talk about.